Hello YouTube, how are you? This is JJ Merrill, and I am going to be bringing you some Jungle Fiddlesticks gameplay in the new jungle. So, it's been a little while since I published my last Nocturne video before this one, and I've, had a little bit of time. We've all had some time to get used to the jungle changes and, determine just how it affects the game. And overall, I'm just going to put this out there right now. I don't like the changes. I don't feel as if they're completely disastrous, but I do think that they were a nerf to the jungle overall as a whole. And that will be a big subject throughout this entire video. And by the way, this is going to be a very, very, very long video, so let's hope I can find enough things to talk about. I think this match lasted for close to 50 minutes, which is pretty bad. I mean, it shouldn't last that long. Anyway, so Jungle Fiddlesticks. Starting out, you can see that I kill the big wolf first, move immediately to blue. By the way, the reason I do the big wolf first is so you have enough XP to get your Dark Wind at level 2, so you can kill the small lizards really, really quickly. It's really important. That's going to save you probably a good 10 seconds or more on your jungle route. I like to start with an Amplifying Tome and a Health Pot. Honestly, I don't even need the Health Pot anymore. I just, that was my one of my old routes. I would take Amplifying Tome and Health Pot and use the Health Pot to try to tank blue, but nowadays, gosh, you don't really even need it. I've changed my rune setup as well. I no longer run armor runes on Fiddlesticks. I'm now trying Mana Regen per 5 per level scaling seals on him. I'll post my full rune setup in Masteries in the video description, by the way. Anyway, Jungle Fiddlesticks. So, let's talk about how it affected characters like him. Fiddlesticks is kind of unique in the fact that he's the only really true AP jungler, and by that I mean it's really designed for it. I mean, sure, you got Jungle Fizz and characters like that, but it's Fiddlesticks. He's meant to be in the jungle. This is what the character was designed for. Kind of like Udyr. If he's not in the jungle, it just feels weird. Well, you can go top lane with Udyr, you'll be fine. And you can go middle with Fiddlesticks, but they belong in the woods. Anyway, jungle changes with Fiddlesticks overall have hurt this character. Reason being is because with the monsters getting less XP per camp and respawning more often, you're going to have to be running back and forth a lot more, and if you don't have blue buff, your mana's going to run out really, really quickly. Fiddlesticks' only reliable AoE damage is his Dark Wind, which granted is pretty good, but you should not be leveling that up until much later on. You need to get your Drain, your Fear, and then your Dark Wind. Anyway, Jungle Fiddlesticks is still viable. He's not as strong as before, which kind of sucks. I still really enjoy the character. I love his playstyle. I love how what's about to happen right here. I noticed that bottom lane is looking very unaware right now. They obviously don't see me. I pinged my teammates to go in, and I flash Fear and get a very, very easy kill on Janna, and she vaporizes. We chase after Tree a little bit, try to do some poke damage to him. Nothing really happens. I go back in the woods, and I go on my way. Not before I tax the lane a little bit. Don't feel bad about taxing the lane, by the way. Just don't hang around like a jackass, and everything will be okay. But anyway, you can see my blue buff has ran out now, and I'm thinking, okay, well, top, something's going on at top. Gameplank's having a little bit of trouble. They're trying to push his turret. I'll let him know that I'm on my way. I'm going to make my way up there right now, while I still do have some, excuse me. I got a full mana pool to go around, and who knows, maybe we can pick up a kill and manage to fend these guys off. So the game plank is pretty low. I ping for him to retreat. He's going to hang around though. I'll take over the lane for a minute, fight against Irelia. And something that's kind of funny here is having red buff on Fiddlesticks is not bad, because you can do stuff like this. You can just walk up to her, throw an auto attack, and she realizes, oh god, he's got red buff. It's intimidating. People don't like DOTs. It freaks them out. I mean, look at that. She doesn't know what the hell to do. Anyway, I take over the lane for a little bit, farm some creeps, get my Crow Storm. So, or did I hit level 6 there? Anyway, I'm watching the video playback in really, really low quality, so I can't really tell what's going on. But anyway, it looks like I'm level 5 right now. I decided to go back and Let's see, what do I buy here? I bet you I'm going to buy boots. No, I go right for the Cage's Lucky Pick and a pair of boots and a Doran's Ring. So a little bit more about Jungle Fiddlesticks and how things have changed. Because it is so much more demanding on your mana now, I've had to adjust my build. I will often buy 2 Doran's Rings back to back just to keep up, just to stay, just not only to sustain myself, but also to keep up in power with the lanes. Because, as you guys know, the new jungle, you are going to fall behind in levels. There's just no way around it. Even if you get off quite a few successful ganks, you're going to fall behind in levels. It's going to suck, so you're going to have to find ways to, compensate for that. There's really nothing else you can do. So I choose to mitigate that disadvantage by picking up a couple of Doran's Rings and hoping for the best and go from there. Anyway, looks like my bottom lane is having a little bit of trouble down there, so I decide I'm going to go get my blue, tinker around with that for a minute. I'm going to go bottom. By the way, this is a normal blind pick, so don't expect that I'm playing against some all-stars here. Oh yeah, notice how that wolf is glowing gold right now? They made a pretty important tweak to the jungle change that I didn't talk about during the time of my last Nocturne video, and that is the monster creeps now have a banking system. What that means is that if the creeps are up for a certain period of time, they will accumulate XP and gold, and when they reach their cap, they'll sparkle. That kind of helps, because it makes it so that if you're off ganking and doing your thing like a Fiddlestick should be, then it's not going to hurt you as much if you're not in your jungle constantly farming. That's a step in the right direction by Riot, I think, so not all hope is lost. Anyway, I Crowstorm in on Tree, and it's looking pretty bad for him. He's taking a ton of damage, but Janna's heal and flash let him get away. I freak out a little bit in the chat, but don't worry about that. I know all these guys. I was very frustrated because my Ventrilo wasn't working. It's working fine for them, but a lot of this game I had to type instead of voice chat, so I kind of felt bad for that. Anyway, notice how that Golem was glowing. It gave me a lot more experience, a lot more gold than one would have if it would have just came up, which is kind of cool. So I think that they're not quite done making their changes to the jungle. I think that we're going to see them do, more. It's not over yet. Whether it will return to the state that it once was, I don't know. A little bit more about the jungle. I don't think anything happens for a little while, but talking a little bit more about the new jungle. So the reason that they've claimed they've made these changes is to make the jungle more accessible. To make it so that newer players can go into it. They don't have to have full rune page mastery set up and all that stuff. They make it so it's easier to come in here, clear the monsters. Jesus, excuse me, and get the job done. Anyway, hold that thought. It looks like Top is going crazy on Pirate. I stand here in the bush. She obviously does not have a ward. I pinged him to go in. I can't risk her getting away, so I'm just going to Crowstorm in, and I expect she's going to vaporize as the crows eat her, and she goes down. So picking up some nice, easy kills here and getting, a little farmed, and you don't want a farmed Fiddlesticks. That is a very, very scary sight. And in this particular game, I did not need to pick up a second Doran's Ring. I went directly for a needlessly large rod with the intention of going for a Rabadon's death cap very, very early. I'm at mid right now, and I see that the Morgana is playing around. I go in for a little bit of damage. Our Karthus exhausts her. She flashes out, though. We don't really get much done. That's okay. Anyway, Yi comes in, tries to do a little bit of damage, pops his Ignite on Karthus. He's getting a little aggressive there. He blows up. Gangplank ult makes short work of him. Do a little bit more damage to Morgana. She runs away, and overall we emerge fairly ahead from that. Anyway, not to get distracted, a little bit more about the new jungle. So, purpose, make it more accessible, make it easier for newer players to get into it. Which that's fine. That's okay. The jungle is cool. It's awesome. It's the main reason that I play this game. Whenever I first started this, I was bad. Not that I'm good now, still quite bad. But I was horrible at this game. Jesus, I was bad. And I started seeing people jungle, and I'm thinking, that is so cool. I want to learn how to do that. So I did. Right when I hit level 20, I picked up Fiddlesticks. I started jungling, and I haven't looked back. Probably about 9 out of 10 games or more I will jungle if I have the option to do so. It's great. I love it. And I think it'd be great for more players to get involved with that. Anyway, more action. The Yi decides to poke at me for a bit. I drain him, easily outdoing his damage. And I make a bit of a mistake here. I should have just sacked up and crow-stormed over the wall and possibly picked up a double kill. I don't. I decide to wait for Gangplank, but that unfortunately gives them enough time to retreat, as if they were predicting I would do that. Who knows, maybe they were. Anyway, I decide to not make this a total waste. We decide to push down this tower, and it looks like we're going to get no resistance here. So I'm giving Gangplank a little bit of a hand. We're easily going to take this tower down, and the game is looking to be going very smoothly for us right now. Aurelia comes in and tries to stop us. I don't know what she was thinking. Exhaust Gangplank. I do some drain on her. She runs away. Yi comes in with his ult. Oh god, here he comes. Alpha strikes. Gets on me. I fear him. He runs around. GP pops his ult. This is overall just really, really messy, to be honest. I mean, I could have stayed in. Maybe got the Yi. I don't think that we would have got a kill on the Yi there. You never know, but that's okay. Unfortunately, they are going to counter push this tower. I go back. Pick up some stuff, watch bottom for a little bit, they're doing fine. I pick up my needlessly large rod and a couple sight wards. I want to make sure that we get dragon warded, even though, to be honest, I don't think we have to worry too much about them taking it. The Yi has not been doing very well. I don't think he's going to be able to get enough coordination from bottom lane. Gangplank doing work up top. Very, very nice. Very nice, sir. Anyway, I decide to cover mid lane a bit from the request of our Karthus. Throw some crows around, do my thing. Okay, finally, I promise I'm going to talk about the jungle a little bit more now. And the action, I'll just let you guys watch. I don't need to narrate everything that happens. New jungle, more accessible, cool, awesome. However, I feel as if that this has actually had a very interesting effect on the jungle as a whole. While there are more characters that can jungle, now, let's define the word can jungle. You can go into the jungle, kill some monsters, piss around, you'll get the job done. Right? You're not going to die. Blue's not going to kill you anymore, you're not going to die at the race. Well, I mean, you can, but... Anyway, that's not going to happen. Okay, it still can happen. I still do see people die to the camps sometimes, which is horrible. Anyway, even though more people can do it without dying and go in there and do their thing, it has made even fewer characters capable of truly getting in there and getting the job done. What do I mean by that? Well, what I mean by that is that now, if you've played League of Legends lately, you know, during the jungle changes, you'll know that what's occurred is that the jungler is almost always going to be underleveled and underfarmed, especially compared to the solo lanes. Even the duo lanes, like notice right now I'm the same level as my duo lanes. At least I'm pretty sure I am. This playback is pretty terrible. Anyway, the solo lanes will almost always be ahead of you. Like, I've gotten several kills, I'm pretty farmed right now, the solo lanes are 1 or even 2 levels ahead of me. The old jungle, that would not be the case. I would be well ahead of them by now, especially with the number of kills and assists that I've gotten. And what that spells out is that your character has to be extremely good at clearing the jungle to even have a chance of keeping up. Oh, by the way, I do something really stupid here. I want the kill on Morgana. I don't even care. I get the kill on her. And the Sona tries her damnedest to keep me alive. She did everything she could there, but I die anyway. But whatever, I wanted the kill. Who cares? Anyway, your character has to be extremely good at clearing the jungle now. And I mean, you have to be Udyr or Skarner. A lot of AoE damage. Continuous, strong AoE damage. Strong sustain. Speed. You have to be able to get to those camps back and forth very, very quickly to make your time worth it. The majority of your time in the jungle now is going to be spent running back and forth between the camps because they respawn so much more quickly and for much less reward than what they were once worth. Therein lies the problem. You need a character that is extremely good at doing that, or else you're going to fall even more behind. This is where Fiddlesticks has definitely gotten impacted by this. It sucks, but what can you do? I still think that Fiddlesticks is viable, but he's definitely going to be on a lower tier list now, just because of his inherent weaknesses in single target damage and not being able to go back and forth between the camps quickly enough. Now, if you're playing, normal blind pick, well, just farm enemy champions all day, and you'll probably be okay anyway. Anyway, back to the game a little bit. They're trying to push down our mid tower. I don't even know what's happening here, but I cut off Janna's retreat. She doesn't have a chance to get away. I suck the life right out of her, and she feeds me even more. I come in to, make sure that they've backed off plenty enough. It looks like they have. And I decided to try to attack the turret a bit, which really honestly doesn't make a lot of sense. Morgana's going to be able to defend it. We don't have a big enough creep wave to push it, so I decided to go back in the jungle and farm a little bit. Back to the jungle. So notice on these wolves that I'm about to kill, at least I'm pretty sure they were, yeah. So the big wolf has the glowing, sparkly thing around him now. Notice how much more XP I got for that. This is really a step in the right direction, and I feel like that this makes the dynamic of counter jungling a lot more attractive, well, much more attractive than before they made this change. I'm talking about after they made the changes and before this little banking hot fix that they did. So leave the creeps alone for a while. They will accumulate XP and gold for you. That's kind of cool. I think that's really going in the right place for the jungle. I don't feel like they should quit their tweaking right now. I think there's still a lot of work to do in terms of balancing it out for the different characters without affecting the characters themselves. Please don't nerf Udyr, don't nerf Skarner. They're fine. They're just really good junglers. That's what they're designed to do. I feel like that they still need to look at the overall balance of the jungle, and is it really necessary to keep it at the point where you have so many characters, and even though they can do it, they can't do it well enough for it to be worth your time. You're going to hurt your team overall if you don't pick a top-tier jungler. That's just all there is to it. Unless you just get off a godly number of ganks, which in this game I've gotten off quite a few good ones. I can't complain. This is an extremely good game so far. But look, Karthus is level 13. I'm level 11 right now. And my kill count than him, I imagine I'm quite a bit higher. Anyway, Morgana melts. I like doing that. The team, as it turned out, we had a really, really AoE-based team. Fiddlesticks ult, Karthus ult, Gangplank ult, Sona to lock them down so they can't leave the ult. So not only are crows, pecking their eyes out, you've got Karthus with his Defile, and you've... yeah, that was funny. In retrospect, I might have been able to block that box for him, but whatever, he's Karthus, he's meant to die anyway. Anyway, strong AoE team, good lineup, we're working really well with each other. I like where this game is going, and I might want to try this matchup again. The Karthus was our random, actually. The 4 other guys I know, they're all on Ventrilo with me. Karthus was the random, but I think he made a good pick, and everything worked out quite well for that. Our team decides to pursue a little too far right there. I ping for them to get back, and I asked for someone to go bottom so that they can clear out that big mini wave and get all that delicious farm. I decided not to do it because Fiddlesticks is actually really, really bad at clearing large mini waves, and I'd kind of be wasting my time, while Karthus is really good at it. So, during these games, put your selfish desires aside and go with whoever's best suited for the job. Anyway, look at what I'm talking about. 6 kills, I'm level 11. Look at everyone else's level. Granted, I haven't been farming the jungle all that much, and I've been getting kills, but it seems like I should be a higher level than I am, and that's frustrating whenever you think you're doing something really right, but then it just kind of goes wrong, Anyway, they're running through our jungle. I throw down a ward to keep an eye on them. They're going to try something here. We decide to fall back to our turret. They're going to keep pushing here. And then something hilarious happens. Tree gets way out of position. I get a fear off on him. And oh my god, he has to run. I decide to go ahead and blow my Crow Storm and catch up to him because I really want the kill. I do get the kill. He burns down. And Janna blows her ult. By the way, Janna is probably one of the strongest Fiddlesticks counters. If you pick Janna, that sucks because she can just blow me away as she just did, so my ult couldn't affect them anymore. Anyway, really strong victory for us. We decided to go ahead and take this practically free dragon. It melts. Free gold and XP for our team, which is great. A little bit more about the jungle. The overall job of the jungler still has not changed at all. Your job is to provide map presence, map control, melt Master Yi whenever he decides to go for his blue. Make him rage in the chat a little bit. So you do that, maintain control over Dragon, make sure the enemy jungler, you keep tabs on him through helping your team put down wards, gank your lanes that need trouble, cover your lanes that need trouble, and overall you kind of serve as kind of a bad analogy, but you're kind of like the point guard for your team. Kind of think of it that way. You know, you're the guy that, you know, you set up these opportunities and you take advantage of them when they present themselves, and you make the play and get the gank and get the kill, and you change the game that way. You win your teammates' lanes. You help them win their lanes. That's the job of the jungler. So while your job has not changed, I think that the way that you go about it has been made a lot more difficult. This has been overall a nerf to the jungle in its entirety, no matter what character you're playing as. I really can't think of any character that got stronger because of the new jungle. No, Shaco does not count. There's no character that I think really got stronger because of the jungle. It has opened up new routes, new possibilities, but overall you cannot combat the fact that you're getting a lot less XP and less gold. There's just no way to work around that. And, you know, don't sit in your teammates' lanes and farm them excessively. Like I said earlier, sure, you can tax them a little bit. There's nothing wrong with that. And unless you're playing with some real jackasses, you know, they're not going to care. You know, take off 2 or 3 last hits and be on your way. That does really help, by the way, whenever you go in for your lane to get a gank, especially if the gank is successful. You know, hey, I'm taxing you for my health. That's fine. Anyway, they're pushing our tower here. I don't know what they're really thinking. They're taking a lot of damage. Malachi has already blown his ult, so we don't have to worry about that. They're just wasting their time here. As a team, you really don't want to be doing stuff like that. You know, if you're not going to push down a tower, if there's 3 of the enemy team there at their tower, they're all at full health, and the tower is also at pretty good health, you're wasting your time. They did finally realize that. They decided to back off to go do whatever it is the other team is doing. Irelia has been top farming all game. She has been non-stop up there. I decided to go up there, shut her down a little bit, and maybe pick up a little bit of farm for myself. Whenever Fiddlesticks hits, you know, the higher levels, he can clear the creep waves a little bit better, but still, look at this clear speed. It's bad. Anyway, just looking at the items of the other team, you can still see I'm really, because we've been doing really well against the enemy team, the level disparity is not that huge. But keep in mind, like a more normal game, or a more even game, I should say, where the kills are a bit more balanced, it wouldn't be this way. Anyway, we decided to break out in a huge fight. I have no idea what happens here. I'm not even going to comment on it. I blow my Crow Storm. There's AoEs everywhere. We kill them. That's what happens. They all die. Morgana, I don't know what she was thinking. She decides to go back in for a little bit, and she gets erased. And I have a lot of gold, which is great. Someone gets away. I ping for Baron to see if we can try to do this, but then I realize we're too weak for Baron. We're all hurt. We need to go back and lick our wounds, buy our items, all that good stuff. Do decide to pick up blue while I'm here. Nice thing about having Karthus as our mid is Karthus doesn't really need blue. Well, I mean, it's helpful for the cooldown reduction on his ult and for his AoE, but those are the only 2 things he needs it for. His Q, not so much, doesn't take that much mana, does decent damage, you can spam it without worrying about running out of mana too much. Excuse me. Anyway, I have my Rabadons, I'm strong, I'm fed. I pick up another needlessly large rod because I plan to turn that to a Zhonya's Hourglass. I make that standard on almost all of my Fiddlesticks builds, regardless of how the game is going. Reason being is I want to be able to dive into a tower from behind them and let my team come in and mop them up, and I don't take any damage for a couple seconds from doing so. It's especially useful in situations like you see right now, even though my ult isn't up. But they're at the tower, and we need some, you know, we need a great initiate. But at the same time, Fiddlesticks can do that and do a lot of damage. We cut him off in the river. Tree has to flash out again. I don't think I've ever seen a character use flash so damn much, except for this guy. Yi once again melts. He's doing a great job at feeding us, which, you know, I appreciate. That's another thing about the new jungle that you guys might have noticed. Have you noticed you've had a lot more bad junglers, right? Just people that are just bad at it. They keep feeding. They don't know what to do anymore. So while they've made the jungle more accessible, The downside to this is that whenever you have a jungler join your team, who's to say the guy even has any idea what he's doing anymore? Generally speaking, if you had a guy that goes jungle and you didn't have to ask him to go jungle, like, hey, we need a jungler, or we need a support, and they weren't last pick, you could at least be maybe, 50% confident that that person had some idea what they were doing. What you're going to see a lot more of nowadays, because you can actually go and do the jungle without having, studied knowledge of it, is you're going to have bad junglers. You're going to have people that don't know the details of, how to work around it, what to do, when to gank, when to farm. And you're going to have guys like Master Yi that are feeding. I mean, that's bad. Look at that. Anyway, can't complain about that. Master Yi is delicious, and he farmed Fiddlesticks. Fiddlesticks is a horrifying sight, and that's one of the main reasons I really enjoy playing the character, is if you get Fiddlesticks farmed, I mean, he can just completely snowball out of control. Keep blue buff on you at all times. Make sure you go in there with a good mana. You're going to be fine. Your ultimate is just so devastating. One of the best ultimates in the game, in my opinion. One of the most game-changing, team fight-changing, just horrifying ultimates. I mean, you pop in there at the right time, you're going to change the whole course of the battle. Not like that, though. Never do that. That was a, what you call a fail storm. Alright? For anyone that chooses to watch this video, that never happened. If you want my justification, which I will try to feebly provide, I thought that they were going to engage on the gangplank and they weren't aware that the rest of us were there. That was a horrible mistake. I make a couple of mistakes like that during this game. But, that's okay. I make another one here. I get way too close. Irelia dashes toward me. I get caught in the Malachite. I do pop my Hourglass to try to do something here, but it's not enough, and I get taken out pretty easily. This is just a real mess. They came in from the turret, someone came in from behind, and this is actually one of the times during this game that they do fairly well against us. Thankfully, Karthus does manage to pick up another kill with his ultimate, so I believe that was a 3-for-2 exchange or something along those lines. So it wasn't a disaster, but that was a situation that could have went a lot better for us. Gangplank and Sona going to do some work here. Tree gets cut down, and it looks like Master Yi's not going to get out of this. Well, then again, he's Master Yi, so how can we hope to catch up to him? Our Gangplank pulls off a sweet move here with a Flash Parlay, and yeah, Yi collapses. He feeds us yet again some more. Anyway, I decided to go back to middle lane, stop Morgana from pushing. Nothing really happens for a while. I've got a ton of kills. I'm fed. I think I decided to build into an Abyssal Scepter right off the bat. I like building Abyssal Scepter on Fiddlesticks, no matter what build I'm going for. You get some nice ability power, magic resist from it, and the magic resist reduction on all enemy champions around you is awesome. Stacks really well with Fiddlesticks passive, which is a natural magic resist reduction to enemy champions. So you get in there with your Crow Storm, and all of a sudden their magic resist is reduced, and that makes it that much easier for the crows to do their work. So this game lasted a lot longer than it needed to. I mean, this game dragged on and on and on and on, and I hope that my commentary here doesn't do the same thing. Our Graves, again, gets a little too close to the Irelia. The Irelia is really farmed, as you can see. And I don't know why I decided to do this. I decided to go and throw a crow at her, fear her. She dashes into me. She does a lot of damage, a lot more damage than I thought she would. I get to my tower, but I decide not to back off. I guess this is what happens whenever you get a little overconfident. She just eats me. I pointlessly pop my Hourglass, and I go down. So you don't want to mess with a farmed Irelia. You can't kill her. You're not going to take down a farmed Irelia like that, especially I'm not as high a level as she is right now. She probably has a lot more gold than I do. Just overall more farmed. While Fiddlesticks is a very good duelist, as in, he's really good at one-on-one encounters because of his fear and his silence. Not with characters like Irelia. You're going to get bursted down before your fear gets back up off a cooldown. Better way I could handle that fight is if I were to use my Hourglass, use it just before my fear comes back off a cooldown, like a couple seconds before then, to buy me some time for that to hit where I'm not taking any damage. Then use my drain to recover some of my HP while she's running around scared. Just some general Fiddlesticks strategies for you. I hope that people still continue to play characters like Fiddlesticks because he's so damn cool that he's tougher to play in the jungle now. Like if you were to look at a tier list, you know, he might have been, you know, tier 1 or 2. He's definitely going to be like a tier 3 now. Matter of fact, on Stonewall's jungle tier list that I looked at the other day, Fiddlesticks is now a tier 3. 3 out of 5. So he's average at best. Generally, if you're, you know, hitting tier 3, that's not good, you know. Obviously, you want to be playing a higher tier champion, one that's better suited for the jungle. You can still make it work, and this game, I do want to say, is not the best representation of like how a normal Fiddlesticks jungle game might go. These guys, I don't think they threw down a single ward in the entire game whenever we were playing, and I was able to just gank with impunity. And just, my crows ate them, fed me, and things went really well. But there are games, and most games, things are not going to go that well for you. Although Fiddlesticks' ganking potential is massive with his Crow Storm coupled with Flash. Even with the Flash nerf, Fiddlesticks' ganks are unreal. They're almost unavoidable, especially if they don't have proper wards set up. If you're against halfway competent people, though, they are going to have wards set up. So you're going to have to be a little bit more creative in how you get off your Crow Storms. For example, this right here is a pretty standard move. I'm standing right behind the wall, hoping that Morgana might get a snare off and engage, say, on our gangplank. If she does, well, they're going to be introduced to the world of crows, and the team fight is going to change radically in our favor instantly. Especially considering I've got my Rabadons, I've got an Hourglass, I've got a Blasting one as well. My AP is high, I'm fairly farmed. Fiddlesticks' ult is just a complete team fight changer. It turns things around just instantly. Maybe even more so than any other ult in the whole game, and that's why I love the character so much. But anyway, I decided to wait a little bit more, see, are they going to come back or not? It looks like they're not. They're backing off. They're going to go try to do their own thing, whatever that might be. So we're running around, doing our thing. Dragon's back up. Decided to go for that. We can probably pick up a pretty easy dragon here. They're doing stuff in mid. Actually, my intention here was to force a fight at dragon because I know that we can win team fights easily, so we need to trigger them somehow. So we go in here, start taking out dragon. Thankfully, I don't get rooted here. I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna have to burn my flash and not get rooted by Maokai. He doesn't. I pop my hourglass to avoid getting blown back by Janna's ult, and it works. And they all die. Even though my Crow Storm didn't directly pick up any kills, I was able to do a lot of damage to 2 or 3 of the enemy champions, and Janna's ult was completely nullified by me using my hourglass right there. So she burned down and yeeted, and they all died. This is a perfect chance for us to do a Baron. Unfortunately, our Karthus doesn't seem to agree. He decides to go bottom to farm. I don't like that. I wish he would have came with us here because Karthus kills Baron. Karthus kills Baron super fast. That's one of the great things about having a Karthus on your team, is if, you know, his mana is up decently, he pops that AoE and the Baron just eats Baron up. I'm actually afraid here that it's going to get stolen, but thankfully it doesn't. They don't react quickly enough. I'm not sure whether they're going to try to go for an engage here. They decide not to. They're afraid of the Baron buff. That actually, if they were all there, though, that would have been a decent engage by them, considering we didn't have Karthus. Excuse me. And they should have been aware that my ult was down. Anyway, we go back to the base, decide to go ahead and buy our stuff, and this is going to be one of the final pushes. We are finally going to push mid. All of us go back, we buy everything. I do pick up my Abyssal Scepter. The Abyssal Scepter is nice to... it's not bad against this lineup, because, you know, prevent the damage from Maokai. Notice they're building magic resist, like Maokai is a force of nature, and someone else had a Negatron cloak, so they're starting to adapt a little bit to the magic damage that we're dealing from Karthus and Fiddlesticks. So I need to counteract that. It might have actually been a better idea to buy a Void Staff here. I don't know, I'll think about that. You really can't go wrong with Abyssal Scepter on Fiddlesticks, though. I believe the next item I buy this game is I do sell my Cage's Lucky Pick, and I do pick up a Void Staff, just to completely crush any magic resistance they might have. You got that, you got Void Staff, you got Fiddlesticks passive. Anyway, I decide hell with it, I'm crow storming in. They're going to have nowhere to retreat. They have absolutely nowhere to go. They're stuck between me and my team. Janna does pop her ult. It doesn't really help all that much. I mean, it does blow me out of the way a bit, prevents her from getting killed. But Morgana and Master Yi go down, so this enables us to really, really easily push mid. We're not even really afraid of Malachi's ult. He's not going to be able to do much to us. He pops, and look, we've barely taken any damage from that. So we're pushing down mid, where we decide that we're going to go ahead and try to go for this turret as well. They only have 3 up for the time being. At least I think they have 3 up. I don't know what Malachi was doing there. Don't care. I can't explain what people do sometimes in this game. Irelia comes in, and she actually does pose a bit of a threat to us. She's kind of fending us off. We're doing good damage to the turret, though. It's going to go down. Karthus blocks her off with a wall of pain, and she melts. She explodes. Take down the inhibitor. The game is definitely locked in at this point. Now, right here, this is where things get a little more interesting. They're coming back up, but the thing is we just don't have enough to really push these towers. They have enough defense that they can keep us away from it, even though we really want to take the game right now and not drag it on. I don't believe... No, we're just not able to push through here. I'm waiting for my ult to come back up. It does come back. I pop my hourglass instantly to avoid taking the turret damage. Do manage to take out Morgana, and this is going to let us do some more damage to that turret, but it's just not enough. We just can't do it, and we're going to be forced to retreat here. This is a situation where having a really, really farmed AD carry is going to help. Our Graves did well this game, and unfortunately he wasn't, like 7-0 and had, Infinity Edge, Phantom Dancer, blah, 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 all that stuff. So we weren't able to get him in a good enough position to do enough damage to that turret to really help us. He's going to be our main turret killer this game. We break off, go bottom, pick up another turret, decide to attack this lane a little bit. No shame in doing that. If you can't win the game right up, even though it feels like you should, go somewhere else. Take down another turret. That's only going to help you out overall in the long run. Our super minions have finally had time to reach the base, which is massive. Super minions are definitely OP. We make a bad mistake here. We don't back off in time. We get caught. Our AD carry goes down. Graves gets killed, so our main source of damage has been eliminated. Someone has taken a lot of damage. I try to help. I throw in a crow, show him his boss, and it's not going to happen. I know I'm going to die here, so I just turn around. I start draining Master Yi to maybe get a kill on him. It doesn't matter. I knew I was going to die anyway. Might as well try to go out in style. I chose not to pop my hourglass because really, what's the point? Sure, I can do that, but they're going to catch up to me, surround me, and I'm going to explode the moment that hourglass wears off. That's kind of something to think about too, just a general strategy within the game is don't burn your flash if you know that for a fact that you're going to die. Like, let's take for example the enemy team. We have Karthus in our team. There's no point really burning your flash if you know for a fact that Karthus is just going to pop his ult and you're going to die anyway. Hold on to it, Anyway, taking a look at the items here, our Karthus has a Void Staff as well, and I sell off my, what did I sell there? I turn that Blasting Wand into a Void Staff. I sell my Cage's Lucky Pick to pick up a Fiendish Codex, which I intend to turn into a Morello's Evil Tome. You might not see that item all that much. I'll explain why I kind of like it on Fiddlesticks. I don't do it all that often because usually the game doesn't last this long. But I kind of like it on Fiddlesticks because the Mana Regen is helpful. You pick up a little more ability power, which is going to stack with your Rabadons. The unique passive on Rabadons is going to help that even more. And the cooldown reduction. Cooldown reduction is so critical on Fiddlesticks. I run flat cooldown reduction on my Glyphs. Excuse me. And the Morello's Evil Tome, I believe, gives you 10-15% or so. And Blue Buff at level 18 gives you 25% cooldown reduction. Now keep in mind you can cap on that. I think that caps at maybe 40% CDR, so I might be going a bit overkill. Maybe I'll have to think about that. Maybe I'll learn something from my own commentary here. Anyway, Master Yi gets caught in the river and instantly explodes in a cloud of smoke. He had no chance. I don't know what he was thinking. I think he thought he was Master Yi. Thinks he can get away from anything. But no, not if you're not fed Master Yi. Janna nearly dies. The Graves ult almost gets her. That was really a shame. I was almost sure she was going down. Anyway, we're pushing the top lane. Our super minions are in mid. They're bound to reach there soon. We decided to go ahead and try to fight here. Well, they should not have tried to fight us, but they obviously went in. I had to use a flash Crowstorm, pick up an easy kill on Morgana, finish her off. And Karthus blows his ult. Why? I don't know. Maybe just to, you know, intimidate them. It kind of scared me a little bit, so I guess it worked. Anyway, we're in their base. We're tearing it up. This has to be the final push. The game has went on for way too long. We're about to hit the 50-minute mark. We just don't have enough power to push through and take down these damn buildings. That's why having, you know, your AD carry farmed up is so terribly important, because whenever you make these pushes, this is going to make or break the game, whether you can actually do enough damage to the turrets, and right now we just can't. I mean, you know, you got what? You got Fiddlesticks, Karthus, Sona. Their auto attacks aren't going to do anything. Gangplank, sure, but he's melee. He's going to have to get up on the turrets to do something. And anyway, they all die. We score an ace. And like a boss, I pop my hourglass just before the last turret shot hits. Okay, maybe that was a little lucky, but I'm kind of proud of that. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you haven't tried Fiddlesticks, play him. He's awesome. Take care, guys.